People of God, before you rush into this day, before you answer another call or fight another battle, I need you to lift your eyes. Lift them above the noise, above the pressure, above the fear. The psalmist declared, I will lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? And today I announce to you with authority, your help is not limited to human systems. Your help does not come from connections or circumstances. Your help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. Hear me in the spirit. God is watching you. He is not distracted. He is not tired. He is not delayed. The one who keeps Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps, which means while you rested, God was working. While you were unaware, God was alert. While the enemy was plotting, God was protecting. This morning, divine surveillance is activated over your life, your family, your purpose, and your destiny. The Lord is your keeper. That means He guards what concerns you. He shades you from what would destroy you. He covers you from attacks you didn't see coming. By day and by night, in public and in private, God is watching over you. Nothing escapes His attention, and nothing touching you today has not already passed through His hands. If this word is resonating with your spirit, I want you to partner with this moment, like this video, and subscribe to the channel for daily prayer, because consistency builds spiritual momentum. Don't just listen, engage. Type Amen in the comments as a declaration that you received this word, and comment one thing you're believing God for today, because when you speak it, heaven responds to it. Now step into this day with confidence. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in. He will preserve your life. He will watch over you from this moment and forevermore. You are not exposed, you are not alone, and you are not forgotten. You are divinely covered, strategically protected, and supernaturally kept by God. When the psalmist declares that help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, it is an invitation to reposition the soul. It is a call to lift the eyes away from visible limitations and rest the heart in an invisible but all-powerful source. This statement is not poetry for comfort alone. It is a legal declaration in the realm of the Spirit. It establishes jurisdiction. It clarifies authority. It reminds the believer that assistance does not originate from systems, people, titles, money, or timing, but from the one who authored time itself. When your help comes from the Lord, it means it is not subject to delay, denial, or depletion, because the source is eternal and self-sustaining. To say that the Lord is the maker of heaven and earth is to acknowledge that nothing you face exists outside His creative capacity. Every mountain, every valley, every season, every challenge, and every solution was formed by His word. The same voice that said, "Let there be light," still speaks clarity into confusion. The same power that separated land from sea still knows how to make a way where there appears to be none. When you understand who your help comes from, panic loses its authority. Anxiety loses its grip and fear loses its voice, because creation itself testifies that God has never failed at sustaining what He started. Many people look for help horizontally when help was always designed to flow vertically. They exhaust themselves negotiating with people who were never assigned to be their source. They wait on doors that were never meant to open, unaware that heaven is already open over their lives. When your help comes from the Lord, you are no longer dependent on approval to advance, permission to prosper, or validation to be secure. You begin to move with a quiet confidence, knowing that what God has sanctioned cannot be sabotaged by human opinion or circumstance. The maker of heaven and earth operates outside of limitation. He is not bound by economy, statistics, or trends. He does not consult forecasts to decide how He will bless you. He does not review your past to determine your future. His help is not reactive. It is intentional. It arrives with precision, wisdom, and perfect timing. Sometimes it comes as strength to endure. Sometimes it comes as favor to advance. Sometimes it comes as wisdom to decide. Sometimes it comes as peace to rest. But it always comes exactly as needed, because the one who made everything understands everything. When you truly believe that your help comes from the Lord, prayer shifts from desperation to alignment. You are no longer begging heaven to notice you. You are positioning yourself to receive what has already been released. Faith becomes less about asking and more about trusting. Waiting becomes less about frustration and more about preparation. Even silence takes on meaning, because you know that God is never inactive, even when He appears quiet. The maker of heaven and earth does not outsource help. He does not delegate your destiny to chance. He is personally invested in what concerns you. Every detail of your life matters to Him, from the decisions you are wrestling with to the burdens you carry silently. When help comes from the Lord, it comes with understanding, Compassion and authority. He does not just fix situations, he strengthens the person. He does not just remove obstacles, he builds capacity. He does not just answer prayers, he transforms the one who prayed. There is a stability that comes when you stop looking to people as your ultimate help. Relationships become healthier. Expectations become balanced. Disappointments lose their sting. You are able to appreciate what people bring without being devastated by what they lack. When God is your source, people become channels, not foundations. They can participate without carrying pressure they were never designed to bear. And you can love freely without fear of collapse, because your help is anchored in the unchanging nature of God. The Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, is not intimidated by complexity. What confuses you does not confuse him. What overwhelms you does not overwhelm him. He sees the full picture while you are standing inside one frame. He understands the connections between events you think are unrelated. He knows how to use what looked like delay as development, what looked like loss as leverage, what looked like rejection as redirection. When your help comes from him, nothing is wasted and nothing is random. This truth invites rest into the soul. Not passive rest, but confident rest, the kind of rest that allows you to sleep while storms rage, because you know who is governing the wind. The kind of rest that allows you to keep moving forward, even when outcomes are uncertain, because your trust is not in outcomes but in God. When help comes from the Lord, rest becomes an act of faith, a declaration that you believe he is doing what you cannot do. The maker of heaven and earth does not need ideal conditions to demonstrate his power. He specializes in unlikely moments and unexpected turnarounds. He brings water out of rocks and provision out of scarcity. He brings order out of chaos and purpose out of pain. When you say your help comes from the Lord, you are aligning yourself with the God who creates solutions, not just supplies them. He does not wait for things to improve before he intervenes. He intervenes and things improve. Understanding where your help comes from also corrects how you respond to pressure. Instead of internalizing stress, you externalize trust. Instead of carrying burdens alone, you cast them. Instead of rehearsing worst-case scenarios, you rehearse promises. Your inner dialogue changes. Your posture changes. Your decisions change. You begin to move from a place of assurance rather than anxiety, from faith rather than fear, from expectation rather than doubt. The Lord who made heaven and earth is consistent. His character does not fluctuate with circumstances. He does not wake up more powerful on some days than others. He does not withdraw support because you struggled or stumbled. His help is rooted in covenant, not performance. It is sustained by love, not perfection. When you fall short, his help does not retreat, it restores. When you are weak, his strength is not diminished, it is revealed. There is a sacred security in knowing that your life is backed by divine authority, that the same hands that shaped galaxies are involved in shaping your future, that the same wisdom that ordered the universe is guiding your steps. This knowledge produces humility without insecurity and confidence without arrogance. You know you are dependent, but not desperate. You know you are supported, but not entitled. You walk with reverence and boldness at the same time. When help comes from the Lord, your vision expands. You stop measuring possibilities by your resources and start measuring them by God's power. You stop asking, how will this work? And start declaring, God will make it work. Faith stretches. Hope stabilizes. Courage strengthens. You begin to attempt things that once intimidated you, not because you are suddenly fearless, but because you trust the one who goes before you. The maker of heaven and earth is intentional about timing. His help may not arrive when you expect it, but it always arrives when it is most effective. He understands the difference between what you want and what you need. He knows when to accelerate and when to delay. He knows when to remove and when to reinforce. Trusting him as your help requires surrendering control, but it also grants peace that control never could. As this truth settles into the heart, it becomes an anchor. In moments of uncertainty, it steadies you. In moments of success, it grounds you. In moments of waiting, it sustains you. You are no longer moved by every report or shaken by every change, because your confidence is not in what you see, but in who you trust. The Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, remains constant, capable, and committed, and your help flowing from him continues uninterrupted, unwavering, and sufficient. When Scripture declares that God is your keeper and that he neither sleeps nor slumbers, it is revealing a dimension of divine care that goes beyond protection and enters the realm of constant supervision. A keeper is not a distant observer. A keeper is actively involved, attentively present, and continually engaged. To say that God is your keeper is to say that your life is under divine custody, watched with intention, guarded with precision, and sustained with unwavering commitment. This is not occasional oversight. This is uninterrupted attention from a God whose awareness never dims and whose power never decreases. Human strength requires rest, but divine strength is self-sustaining. God does not need to pause to recover energy. He does not grow weary from managing the universe. He does not become distracted by competing demands. While you sleep, he is awake. While you rest, he is alert. While you lose awareness, he increases surveillance. The nights that make you anxious are the moments when God intensifies his watch. The seasons when you feel most vulnerable are the times when his keeping becomes most evident, even if unseen. To be kept by God is to live within a divine perimeter. It means there are boundaries around your life that cannot be crossed without permission. It means that not everything that tries to reach you is allowed access to you. Some things are blocked before you ever become aware of them. Some dangers are neutralized before they ever form. Some attacks are redirected before they ever manifest. You often give credit to luck or coincidence, not realizing that what you call chance is actually divine intervention operating quietly behind the scenes. The God who keeps you is not reactive, he is proactive. He does not wait for trouble to arise before he responds. He anticipates, he foresees, he prepares. Long before you encountered the challenge, God had already positioned protection. Long before you recognized the threat, God had already assigned defense. Long before you realized you needed strength, God had already released it. His keeping is not based on emergencies. It is built into the structure of your life. When the Bible says he never sleeps nor slumbers, it is dismantling every fear associated with neglect or abandonment. Slumber suggests reduced awareness, delayed response, diminished attention. God does not drift. He does not blink. He does not miss moments. There is never a lapse in his observation. There is never a break in his focus. Even when you feel unseen, you are still fully seen. Even when you feel forgotten, you are still fully remembered. This truth changes how the soul experiences uncertainty. You may not know what tomorrow holds, but you know who is watching tomorrow. You may not understand the process, but you trust the keeper of the process. You may not control outcomes, but you rest in the one who governs outcomes. When God is your keeper, peace becomes possible even in the absence of answers, because your confidence is rooted in his consistency, not your clarity. The keeping power of God is comprehensive. It is not limited to physical safety. He keeps your mind when thoughts try to overwhelm you. He keeps your heart when disappointment tries to harden you. He keeps your spirit when fatigue tries to drain you. He keeps your faith when circumstances try to shake it. His protection extends to every layer of your being, addressing what is visible and what is invisible, what is external and what is internal. God's keeping does not mean you will never face challenges. It means challenges will never have authority over you. You may walk through valleys, but you will not be consumed by them. You may encounter resistance, but it will not destroy you. You may experience pressure, but it will not crush you. Being kept by God means that whatever you go through is filtered through his purpose and restrained by his power. There are moments when God's keeping feels silent. You do not always sense it emotionally. You do not always see evidence immediately. But silence does not equal absence. In fact, some of God's greatest work happens quietly. Just because you do not feel him does not mean he is not functioning. Just because you cannot trace his hand does not mean his hand is not there. The keeper works even when the kept is unaware. God's sleepless nature also speaks to his eternal vigilance over generations. He is not only keeping you for today, he is keeping what concerns your future. He is guarding what is attached to your destiny. He is preserving what will matter later. His protection is not short-term, it is legacy-oriented. He watches over what you are becoming, not just where you are. When you understand that God is your keeper, fear begins to lose its dominance. Fear thrives on the illusion that you are alone and exposed, but the awareness of divine keeping dismantles that illusion. You are never unattended. You are never uncovered. You are never outside his range. Even when you step into unfamiliar territory, God is already there monitoring, adjusting, and sustaining. The God who keeps you does not do so reluctantly. He is not burdened by the responsibility. He delights in guarding what belongs to him. You are not an obligation. You are an assignment he willingly embraces. His love fuels his vigilance. His covenant fuels his commitment. He does not grow tired of watching over you. He does not become impatient with your growth. He remains present through every phase, every season, every transition. There is comfort in knowing that while your strength fluctuates, his does not. While your focus shifts, his remains fixed. While your emotions rise and fall, his stability endures. God does not need you to stay strong for him to keep you. He does not need you to stay perfect for him to protect you. His keeping is rooted in who he is, not in how well you perform. The night often represents uncertainty, vulnerability, and the unknown. Scripture intentionally emphasizes that God keeps you by night to reassure the believer that darkness does not reduce divine awareness. When vision is limited and clarity is low, God's sight remains unhindered. When you cannot see ahead, he sees everything. When you are resting, he is ruling. When you surrender control, he assumes responsibility. God's keeping also involves correction and redirection. Sometimes protection does not look like prevention. It looks like restraint. He keeps you from choices that would harm you. He blocks paths that would delay you. He disrupts plans that would derail you. In those moments, it may feel like loss or disappointment, but it is actually preservation. What you perceive as denial is often divine defense. To be kept by God is to be sustained through seasons you thought would break you. There are moments you survived not because you were strong, but because God was watching. There were times you did not collapse, not because you had clarity, but because God intervened. Looking back, you may realize that what held you together was not your resilience, but his relentless keeping power operating beyond your awareness. God does not slumber means he is never late. He does not arrive after damage is done. He does not show up after the moment has passed. His timing is exact. His responses are precise. He knows when to act, when to wait, when to shield, and when to strengthen. His watchfulness is intelligent, intentional, and perfectly aligned with his wisdom. The keeper role also implies ownership. God keeps what belongs to him. You are not guarding yourself. You are being guarded. You are not sustaining yourself. You are being sustained. You are not fighting alone. You are being defended. This removes the pressure to self-preserve at all costs and invites trust into the heart. You are allowed to exhale because the responsibility of ultimate protection does not rest on you. As this truth settles into the soul, it produces a quiet confidence. Not loud or boastful, but steady and grounded. You move differently when you know you are being watched over. You speak differently when you know you are being covered. You decide differently when you trust that God is involved. Life becomes less frantic and more intentional, less fearful and more faith-filled. The keeping power of God does not expire with age, season, or circumstance. He keeps you in beginnings and endings. He keeps you in transition and stability. He keeps you in clarity and confusion. He keeps you when you are certain and when you are unsure. There is never a moment when his attention drifts or his commitment weakens. Even when you feel exposed, you are still covered. Even when you feel tired, he is still alert. Even when you feel overwhelmed, he is still in control. God's sleepless nature is your assurance that there is no gap in care, no lapse in protection, no interruption in presence, no pause in power, no moment where your life is unattended, no season where your destiny is unsecured, no night where your future is left unguarded, no instant where the keeper looks away, no second where heaven disengages, no hour where divine attention is withdrawn, no breath where his watchfulness is suspended, only a continual, unwavering, ever-present keeping that surrounds you, upholds you, and sustains you as you move through life aware or unaware, confident or uncertain, resting or striving, knowing or not knowing that the God who keeps you remains awake, alert, engaged, attentive, and fully invested in every step you take, every moment you breathe, every path you walk, every decision you face, every burden you carry, every season you enter, every night you endure, every morning you rise, with eyes that never close and hands that never release, watching, guarding, sustaining, preserving, holding, covering, defending, strengthening, guiding, protecting, and remaining present in ways both seen and unseen, known and unknown, felt and unfelt, expressed and unexpressed, operating beyond emotion, beyond sensation, beyond awareness, continuing to keep you even now as this truth settles gently into the spirit and lingers in the mind and rests in the heart where fear once tried to live and uncertainty once tried to speak and restlessness once tried to rule, leaving behind a calm assurance that the keeper is still awake and still holding and still guarding and still surrounding and still involved and still present and still faithful to engaged and still keeping you as the committed and still keeping you as the day, the moments pass. And the journey continues without corruption, without delay, without withdrawal, without rest, without slumber, without without sleep, without end. Divine protection is not seasonal, situational, or selective. It is continuous, intentional, and all-encompassing. When Scripture declares that protection covers you by day and by night, it is revealing a rhythm of divine care that operates beyond human awareness. Day represents visibility, activity, responsibility, and exposure. Night represents vulnerability, rest, uncertainty, and the unknown. God's protection does not choose between the two, it governs both. Whether you are active or still, aware or unaware, alert or resting, heaven remains engaged in guarding your life. During the day, you navigate responsibilities, make decisions, interact with people, and encounter pressures that demand clarity and strength. Divine protection in daylight is subtle yet powerful. It shows up as discernment that keeps you from wrong choices, wisdom that guides conversations, restraint that prevents conflict, and favor that opens doors you did not knock on. It is protection from errors that could cost you time, peace, or destiny. It is protection from distractions that could pull you off course. It is protection from unnecessary battles that would drain your energy and delay your purpose. In the daylight hours, many dangers are not obvious. They hide behind opportunity, familiarity, or urgency. Divine protection is not only about shielding you from visible threats, it is about preserving you from subtle traps. God covers you from decisions that look good, but are not God. He covers you from alliances that appear beneficial, but are not assigned. He covers you from overextending yourself beyond what grace supports. This form of protection is quiet, often unnoticed, but deeply effective. Nighttime protection speaks to moments when control is surrendered. When the body rests, the mind slows and awareness decreases, vulnerability increases. Scripture emphasizes that God covers you by night to reassure the soul that rest does not equal risk. Sleep is not exposure when God is guarding. Night protection means that while you are unconscious, God remains fully conscious. While you disengage, heaven remains engaged. While your senses shut down, divine surveillance intensifies. Night often symbolizes uncertainty and fear. It represents seasons where clarity is low and answers feel distant. Divine protection in the night is not only about physical safety, it is about emotional and spiritual security. God guards your thoughts from spiraling into fear. He keeps your heart from being overwhelmed by anxiety. He protects your spirit from despair that tries to settle in silence. Even when you wake suddenly with heaviness, God is already present in the moment. Divine protection is not reactive. God does not wait for danger to arise before he intervenes. He positions protection ahead of time. He assigns angels before threats form. He creates boundaries before attacks manifest. Many things never reach you because they were intercepted before arrival. You may never know how many times you were spared, redirected, or shielded because divine protection often works invisibly, preventing what you never saw. This covering is not based on perfection. It is not earned by behavior or sustained by performance. Divine protection flows from covenant. It is rooted in God's commitment to his people, not their ability to maintain control. Even when you miss signs, misjudge moments, or misunderstand seasons, protection does not withdraw. God covers you while he corrects you. He guards you while he grows you. He preserves you while he processes you. Day and night protection also means continuity. There is no gap between moments. There is no shift change in heaven. God does not hand your care over to chance when one phase ends and another begins. Transition does not cancel protection. It often intensifies it. When you move from one season to another, divine coverage adjusts, adapts, and remains active. God understands that transitions carry risk, and he responds with increased attentiveness. Divine protection includes shielding you from what would damage your identity. Not every attack comes to destroy your body. Some come to erode your confidence, distort your self-worth, or weaken your faith. God protects you from voices that would define you incorrectly. He guards you from comparisons that would diminish you. He covers you from internal wars that could sabotage your peace. This kind of protection strengthens the inner life so the outer life can remain stable. Protection also involves timing. God knows when to allow exposure and when to provide covering. Sometimes protection looks like separation. Sometimes it looks like delay. Sometimes it looks like interruption. He may remove you from environments that no longer serve your growth. He may slow you down when acceleration would harm you. He may disrupt plans that would lead you into unnecessary conflict. What feels inconvenient may actually be divine preservation. Daytime protection also operates in the realm of productivity. God guards your energy so you do not burn out. He covers your focus so you are not scattered. He protects your efforts so your labor is not wasted. There are people who work harder than you but advance less, not because you are more capable, but because divine protection is preserving your strength and multiplying your effectiveness. God does not just protect you from harm, He protects your purpose. Nighttime protection is deeply connected to rest. Rest is an act of trust. When you sleep, you declare that you believe God is handling what you cannot. Divine protection honors that trust. It calms the body, it steadies the mind, it renews the spirit. God uses the night to restore what the day drained. He uses rest as a weapon against anxiety and fatigue. Protection by night ensures that when you rise, you are not depleted but renewed. There are nights when the enemy tries to exploit silence, when fear becomes louder because distractions are gone. Divine protection speaks peace into those moments. It reassures the heart, it quiets racing thoughts, it wraps the soul in stillness. Even when sleep is disrupted, God remains present. Even when rest is light, protection remains strong. He does not abandon you to the night, He meets you in it. Divine protection does not mean you will never face danger. It means danger will never have final authority. You may encounter storms, but you will not be overtaken by them. You may walk through valleys, but you will not be consumed by them. Protection does not always remove adversity. Sometimes it limits its reach. It restricts its impact. It controls its outcome. What could have destroyed you is reduced to a lesson, a testimony, a stepping stone. God's protection is intelligent. It knows what to block and what to allow. Some experiences are permitted not to harm you, but to strengthen you. Protection ensures that whatever you face does not exceed what grace can sustain. God measures exposure. He regulates pressure. He sets boundaries on what is allowed to touch you. Nothing reaches you without passing through His authority. Day and night protection also speaks to constancy across emotions. There are days you feel strong and nights you feel weak. There are moments you are confident and moments you are unsure. Protection does not fluctuate with emotion. God does not guard you more when you feel faithful and less when you feel tired. His coverage is stable even when your feelings are not. You are protected when you are worshiping and when you are weeping. Divine protection extends to your coming and going. It covers travel, movement, decisions, and direction. God guards you on roads you know and paths you have never walked before. He covers you in familiar places and unfamiliar environments. He protects you when you are surrounded and when you are alone. Location does not limit divine reach. Distance does not weaken divine coverage. There are conversations you avoided not by accident, but by protection. There are accidents that never happened not by chance, but by intervention. There are illnesses that did not progress, plans that did not succeed, relationships that did not continue, all because divine protection was active. You may not always see the hand of God, but you live within the evidence of it. Protection by day and night also means longevity. God is preserving you for purpose. He is guarding your life because it carries assignment. There are things you are meant to do, people you are meant to impact, words you are meant to speak. Protection ensures you arrive at the moments that matter. It keeps you alive, aligned, and available for what God has ordained. This protection invites trust, not reckless behavior, but surrendered confidence. You move wisely, but not fearfully. You plan, but not anxiously. You engage life, but not with constant dread. Knowing you are covered allows you to live fully without being consumed by what-if scenarios. Faith replaces fear. Peace replaces panic. Assurance replaces uncertainty. Divine protection is not loud. It does not announce itself. It does not draw attention. It works quietly, consistently, effectively. It is the unseen shield that absorbs impact. It is the unseen hand that redirects danger. It is the unseen voice that whispers caution. It is the unseen presence that surrounds you even now. Day and night protection means there is no moment when you are exposed, no second when you are unguarded, no hour when heaven disengages. God's covering moves with you. It adapts to your environment. It responds to your needs. It remains constant regardless of circumstance. You are covered when you rise and when you rest, when you speak and when you are silent, when you understand and when you do not, when you feel strong and when you feel fragile, when the sun is high and when the night is long. Surrounded by a divine shield that does not weaken, does not fail, does not retreat, does not expire, does not pause, does not shift, does not sleep, does not diminish, remaining active, present, intentional, vigilant, guarding every step, every breath, every moment, every season, every transition, every decision, every silence, every movement. Every stillness, every hour of light, and every hour of darkness, keeping you held, covered, preserved, sustained, watched, guarded, and protected continuously as life unfolds under the care of a God whose protection does not end when the day fades and does not weaken when the night deepens, remaining steady, complete surrounding, and secure as the rhythm of day and night continues uninterrupted, and your life remains held within that unbroken divine covering. When Scripture reveals that the Lord watches over your life, your purpose, and your destiny, it is unveiling a truth that brings deep reassurance to the soul. God's watchfulness is not casual observation, it is intentional involvement. To watch over something means to care for it with focus, to guard it with responsibility, and to guide it with wisdom. Your life is not drifting under heaven's radar. Your days are not unfolding randomly. Your existence is not an accident sustained by chance. You are being watched over by a God who understands the weight of your life and the value of your assignment. God watches over your life in its entirety, not just in moments of crisis. He sees your beginnings, your transitions, your pauses, and your progress. He observes the seasons when things are clear and the seasons when everything feels uncertain. There is no chapter of your story that God skipped reading. There is no moment he ignored. Even the days you consider insignificant are known to him, because he understands that destiny is shaped not only in major moments, but also in quiet consistency. When God watches over your life, it means he is attentive to the details that others overlook. He sees the silent battles you fight internally. He notices the prayers you whisper instead of shout. He observes the choices you make when no one is applauding. His watchfulness is intimate, not distant. He is not watching from afar with detachment. He is present with awareness. Every emotion, every thought, every burden is visible to him. God also watches over your purpose. Purpose is the reason you were created, the assignment tied to your existence. It is bigger than career, bigger than talent, bigger than ambition. Purpose is divine intent expressed through a human life. Because purpose is precious, it requires protection. God guards your purpose from premature exposure, from counterfeit opportunities, and from environments that would damage its development. There are things you wanted earlier that God delayed, not to deny you, but to protect what was still forming. Purpose requires timing. God watches over timing carefully. He knows when you are ready and when you are not. He knows when an open door would bless you and when it would overwhelm you. Sometimes it feels like delay, but it is actually divine pacing. God is not slow, he is strategic. He understands that releasing purpose too early can be just as harmful as releasing it too late. God's watchfulness over your purpose also includes correction. When you drift off course, he redirects. When distractions pull at your focus, he intervenes. When pride threatens humility or fear threatens courage, he applies pressure to realign you. Correction is not punishment, it is protection. It is evidence that God is invested in where you are going, not just where you are. Destiny is the unfolding of purpose over time. It is what happens when obedience meets opportunity under divine direction. God watches over your destiny with long-term vision. He sees beyond this season into what is coming next. He understands how present decisions affect future outcomes. He connects moments you think are unrelated. He weaves experiences together into a pattern that makes sense later, even if it feels confusing now. When God watches over your destiny, it means he is guarding the future you cannot yet see. He is preserving you for moments you have not yet reached. There are encounters ahead of you that require you to arrive whole, mature, and prepared. There are assignments ahead that require strength you are still developing. God's watchfulness ensures that what lies ahead does not destroy you before you reach it. There are times when God allows you to experience resistance because resistance builds capacity. He does not remove every obstacle, but he controls their intensity and duration. He ensures that pressure does not exceed what will shape you positively. He watches carefully, adjusting the process as needed. You are not abandoned to struggle. You are supervised through growth. God's watch over your life also includes protection from misalignment. There are relationships that could derail destiny if they lasted longer. There are opportunities that look promising but carry hidden costs. There are paths that seem easier but lead away from purpose. God watches closely and intervenes, sometimes through discomfort, sometimes through disruption, sometimes through closed doors. What feels like loss may actually be preservation. Watching over destiny means God remains faithful even when you are unsure. There are moments you doubt yourself, question your calling, or feel disconnected from your purpose. God does not withdraw his watch in those moments. He remains attentive even when your confidence wavers. He believes in what he placed inside you, even when you struggle to see it clearly. God's watchfulness also extends to your development. Purpose requires preparation. Destiny requires maturity. God watches how you respond to correction, how you handle responsibility, how you treat people, how you steward what you already have. These moments matter because they shape who you are becoming. He is not rushing the process, he is refining it. Your life is watched over with compassion. God understands your humanity. He knows your limitations. He sees your efforts and your exhaustion. His watch is not harsh or critical. It is loving and patient. He does not measure you by comparison to others. He works with your uniqueness, your pace, your capacity. Destiny is personal, not competitive. God also watches over the unseen work happening within you. Growth often occurs quietly. Healing often happens gradually. Faith often strengthens invisibly. Just because progress is not dramatic does not mean it is not real. God sees the internal shifts that others cannot. He honors the small victories. He acknowledges the private obedience. These unseen moments are shaping destiny more than public achievements. There are seasons when God's watch feels distant because outcomes are unclear. Silence can feel like absence. Waiting can feel like neglect. But silence does not mean God has stopped watching. Waiting does not mean he has looked away. Often, his watch is most intense when his voice is quiet, because he is orchestrating things beyond what you can perceive. God watches over your destiny through generational awareness. He understands what you carry that others did not. He knows what cycles you are breaking and what legacies you are establishing. He guards you not only for your sake, but for those connected to your obedience. Destiny is rarely individual. It is often generational. God's watch includes the ripple effect of your life. There are moments when God intervenes dramatically and moments when he intervenes subtly. Both are expressions of his watchfulness. A sudden rescue and a quiet redirection carry the same intention: preservation of purpose. God is not limited to one method of intervention. He uses what is needed when it is needed. God watches over your life even when you make mistakes. Failure does not cancel destiny. Missteps do not erase purpose. God does not abandon the process because of imperfection. He works redemption into the story. He recalibrates direction. He restores what was damaged. His watch is resilient, not fragile. Understanding that God watches over your life, purpose, and destiny changes how you interpret seasons. You stop seeing hardship as abandonment and start seeing it as development. You stop viewing delay as denial and start seeing it as preparation. You stop interpreting closed doors as rejection and start recognizing them as protection. This awareness produces calm, not because everything is easy, but because everything is supervised. You are not managing life alone. You are not carrying destiny by yourself. God is involved in the details, attentive to the process, committed to the outcome. Even when you do not understand the route, you trust the guide. God's watch also means accountability. He cares how you steward what he gives. He watches how you treat people, how you use influence, how you respond to pressure. Destiny is not just about where you go. It is about who you become along the way. God's watch is shaping character as much as calling. There are moments when God allows things to fall apart because something greater is being rebuilt. He watches closely during breakdowns because those moments are fragile. He ensures that what is being removed does not take with it what is essential. He separates what is temporary from what is eternal. This process can feel painful, but it is purposeful. God watches over your destiny with hope. He is not pessimistic about your future. He is not uncertain about his plan. He is confident in what he started. Even when you feel behind, God sees ahead. Even when you feel delayed, God sees alignment. His perspective is broader, deeper, and eternal. As this truth settles into the heart, anxiety loosens its grip. Pressure begins to ease. You realize that you are not responsible for forcing destiny to happen. Your role is obedience, faithfulness, and trust. God handles the outcome. He manages the timing. He watches over the process. Your life is seen. Your purpose is guarded. Your destiny is supervised. God's eyes are on you in moments of clarity and confusion, strength and weakness, progress and pause. He is attentive without being intrusive, present without being overwhelming, involved without being controlling, watching, guiding, guarding, adjusting, preserving, aligning, shaping, sustaining, covering, protecting, correcting, strengthening, and remaining deeply invested in every step you take, every season you enter, every decision you face, every moment you endure, every victory you celebrate, Every struggle you survive, remaining engaged as your story continues to unfold under His watchful care, held within a divine awareness that does not fade, does not wander, does not weaken, but remains steady and focused as your life moves forward under the careful attention of a God who watches over all that concerns you. When Scripture declares that God preserves your going out and your coming in forevermore, it is revealing a divine commitment to continuity, stability, and sustained care over the entire movement of your life. Going out represents action, initiative, responsibility, and engagement with the world. Coming in represents rest, return, reflection, and recovery. God is not only involved in what you do, He is involved in how you enter and how you exit every season, every decision, every assignment. Every transition. Preservation is not momentary protection. It is long-term guardianship over the rhythm of your life. To preserve means to keep something from decay, damage, or loss. God is actively preserving you as you move through life, not merely reacting to danger, but sustaining you through time. Your movement is watched. Your direction is guided. Your steps are covered. You are not wandering aimlessly through seasons. You are being preserved intentionally through them. Whether you are stepping into something new or returning from something demanding, God is involved in both directions. Your going out often carries risk. It involves exposure, decision-making, and engagement with uncertainty. Every time you step out, you encounter variables you cannot control. God's preservation ensures that stepping forward does not become stepping into destruction. He guards your choices. He covers your actions. He watches over your intentions. Even when you are unaware of the full consequences of a decision, God's preserving hand limits harm and redirects outcomes. Your coming in is equally important. Many people know how to go out strong, but do not know how to come back whole. God preserves you so that when you return from battle, from work, from responsibility, from emotional labor, you are not depleted beyond repair. He restores what was spent. He renews what was drained. He brings you back into alignment so that movement does not cost you your peace, your health, or your identity. Preservation speaks to longevity. God is not just keeping you for today, He is sustaining you for a lifetime. He understands that destiny unfolds over time, not overnight. He guards you from burnout, from unnecessary wear, from cycles that would exhaust your spirit. Preservation is God's way of ensuring that you do not arrive at your future empty, broken, or worn down beyond recovery. Your going out may involve seasons of ambition, productivity, and growth. God preserves you from being consumed by your own drive. He keeps you from chasing success at the cost of your soul. He protects you from mistaking activity for purpose. Preservation helps you move forward without losing yourself in the process. Your coming in may involve vulnerability. It may involve rest, healing, and reflection. God preserves you from guilt when you slow down. He guards you from shame when you need restoration. He reminds you that rest is not weakness, but wisdom. Preservation allows you to return without fear, knowing that you are not judged for needing renewal. Forevermore means this preservation is not temporary. It does not expire when circumstances change. It does not weaken with age. It does not diminish with difficulty. God's preservation is consistent across seasons, across years, across transitions. What He preserves, He sustains. What He sustains, He carries forward. There are moments when God preserves you by slowing you down. You wanted to move faster, but preservation required patience. There are moments when He preserves you by redirecting your path. You thought you were going one way, but preservation required a turn. These adjustments are not setbacks, they are safeguards. Preservation also means protection from cumulative damage. Some harm does not come from one event, but from repeated strain over time. God watches patterns. He sees when pressure is building. He intervenes before collapse. He sends rest before exhaustion becomes destruction. He brings awareness before burnout becomes breakdown. Your going out and coming in also represent public and private life. God preserves you in both. He guards your reputation publicly and your heart privately. He watches how you are perceived and how you perceive yourself. He preserves integrity when no one is watching and credibility when everyone is watching. There is balance in His care. God's preservation includes your relationships. He watches who you leave with and who you return to. He preserves you from connections that would drain you and isolates you from influences that would corrupt you. Sometimes preservation looks like distance. Sometimes it looks like separation. Sometimes it looks like solitude. These are not punishments, they are protections. Preservation does not mean absence of hardship. It means hardship will not destroy you. You may face pressure, but it will not dismantle you. You may endure loss, but it will not erase you. You may walk through storms, but you will come out with your faith intact. God preserves what matters most even when circumstances are challenging. Your movement through life involves decisions large and small. God preserves you from the weight of carrying consequences alone. He brings grace into mistakes. He brings wisdom into uncertainty. He brings mercy into missteps. Preservation does not eliminate responsibility, but it ensures responsibility does not crush you. Going out also represents obedience. Sometimes God sends you into unfamiliar territory. Preservation ensures that obedience does not lead to abandonment. When God sends you, He sustains you. When He calls you forward, He covers you. You are never sent without support. You are never called without care. Coming in represents completion. God preserves you so that assignments can be finished without losing your strength. He values completion without destruction. He desires fulfillment without depletion. Preservation ensures that you can say yes again because you were not ruined by the last yes. Forevermore also speaks to God's eternal perspective. He is not preserving you only for earthly outcomes. He is preserving your soul, your faith, your alignment with Him. He cares about who you are becoming as much as what you are doing. Preservation ensures that your inner life remains anchored even as your outer life changes. God preserves you through seasons of transition. Transition is often where people are most vulnerable. Old structures fall away while new ones are not yet formed. Preservation covers you in the in-between. He keeps you steady while things are shifting. He guards your mind when certainty is absent. He preserves your hope when clarity is delayed. Your going out and coming in also reflects cycles. Life moves in rhythms. There are times to advance and times to retreat, times to build and times to restore. God preserves you by teaching you to honor rhythm. He protects you from staying too long in one phase and missing the grace of another. Preservation includes emotional health. God guards your heart from becoming hardened by disappointment. He preserves tenderness even after pain. He keeps your spirit from becoming cynical. He protects your capacity to trust again. Emotional preservation is often quieter than physical protection, but just as vital. There are moments when God preserves you by removing options. Too many options can scatter focus. Preservation sometimes simplifies life so clarity can return. He reduces noise so you can hear Him. He removes distractions so you can stay aligned. God preserves you in motion and in stillness. When you are active, He watches over your steps. When you are still, He watches over your thoughts. There is no state of being that escapes His preserving care. Preservation also means God is guarding you against becoming less than who He created you to be. He watches identity carefully. He protects you from environments that would shrink you, labels that would define you incorrectly, and roles that would confine you beyond grace. He preserves your authenticity. Your going out may require courage. Preservation ensures courage does not turn into recklessness. Your coming in may require humility. Preservation ensures humility does not turn into self-neglect. God maintains balance so extremes do not destroy you. Forevermore reminds you that God's care is not fragile. It does not depend on your consistency alone. It is rooted in His faithfulness. Even when you falter, preservation continues. Even when you doubt, preservation remains. Even when you grow weary, preservation holds you. God preserves you through unseen dangers. There are things you never encountered because God intercepted them. There are paths you never walked because God redirected you. Preservation often works quietly, without announcement, without recognition, without explanation. Your life is moving somewhere, and God is involved in every movement. He preserves your steps when you step forward and your peace when you step back. He preserves your strength when you engage and your soul when you withdraw. He preserves you in beginnings and endings, entrances and exits, launches and landings, ensuring that every movement serves purpose and not destruction. Preservation also includes wisdom for when to move and when to wait. God guards you from impulsive exits and premature entrances. He teaches discernment so that movement is aligned with timing. Preservation is often found in restraint. God preserves your future by guarding your present. He understands that small compromises today can become large consequences tomorrow. He intervenes early, He corrects gently. He redirects lovingly. Your going out and coming in are covered not because you are flawless, but because you are loved. God's preservation is an expression of covenant. It is His promise to remain involved, attentive, and committed throughout your journey. There is comfort in knowing that you are not managing life alone. You are not responsible for holding everything together. God is actively preserving you as you move, as you rest, as you decide, as you wait, as you advance, as you recover, as you build, as you release, as you step into new seasons and step out of old ones with a preserving care that does not weaken with time, does not diminish with pressure, does not withdraw with difficulty, but remains steady, faithful, intentional, guarding every transition, every movement, every pause, every return, every advance, every cycle, every season, every step, every breath, preserving your life, your strength, your faith, your peace, your purpose, your alignment, your wholeness, your direction, your identity, your journey, your days, your nights, your beginnings, your endings, your going out and your coming in under the continual care of a God who preserves forevermore. Beloved, as you step away from this moment of prayer, carry this truth gently in your spirit. You are not walking into this day uncovered. You are not stepping into uncertainty alone. The same God who watched over you through the night is already present in every moment ahead, steady, intentional, and fully engaged with your life. Let your heart remain anchored in peace. Whatever awaits you today has already passed through the hands of God. Nothing will surprise him. Nothing will overpower his authority. You can move forward without rushing, trusting that divine order is working on your behalf even when you cannot see the full picture. Release the weight you've been carrying. You were never meant to hold everything by yourself. God is preserving your strength, guarding your mind, and sustaining your spirit. Breathe deeply and allow his presence to settle you, reminding you that rest is part of faith, not a lack of it. As you go, remember that obedience is more powerful than anxiety. One step at a time is enough when God is directing the path. You do not need to figure out everything today. Grace will meet you at the moment you need it, exactly where you are. Let your words today be shaped by faith and your decisions be guided by wisdom. Divine protection is surrounding your conversations, your actions, and your reactions. What is meant for you will not miss you, and what is not meant for you will not overpower you. If this prayer has ministered to your heart, stay connected. Like this video and subscribe to the channel for daily prayer, because consistency in prayer builds strength in the spirit. Let this be a place you return to as often as you need renewal and alignment. I want you to seal this moment with a declaration. Type amen in the comments as a sign of agreement with what God is doing in your life. And take a moment to comment one thing you are believing God for today, because faith spoken releases expectation. Know that you are covered as you move through this day. Covered in your work, covered in your home, covered in your relationships, covered in your thoughts. God is involved in the details, not just the big moments. May peace guard your heart and clarity guide your steps. May strength rise where weariness once tried to settle. May confidence replace doubt as you remember who is watching over you. Go forward knowing that heaven is attentive to you. Grace is active around you, and God remains faithful to complete what he has begun in your life.